Good day, class. For today's video, I am going to show you how to solve a rational inequalities. Okay, for our previous lesson, I already discussed about how to solve rational expression or rational equation. Okay, so for today, we have solving rational inequalities, then we have interval and set notation. So in here, we have interval, set notation, and then the line graph. Okay, so we have here hollow circle and then shaded circle. So paano ba natin gagamitin yung hollow circle? So para gamitin natin or paano ba natin i-apply or gagamitin yung hollow circle if yung solution natin is hindi kasama. Okay, so later sa following example natin, mas maintindihan nyo siya. So dito, i-ano ko na lang siya ng konti, paliwanag ko siya ng konti. So pag hollow circle, pag walang solution, and then ang gagamitin natin dyan is bracket. Open and close parenthesis rather. Okay, then for set notation, okay, so we have here A is less than X, then X is less than B. And if shaded circle naman, paano ba natin masasabi na shaded circle? If yung kasama yung solution natin sa given example. So later, malalaman natin yun. Okay, so pag shaded circle naman, gagamitin natin is bracket. So like for example, ito siya sa second interval. And then for our set notation, we have A is less than or equal to X, then X is less than or equal to B. And then we have here pinagsamang open and close parenthesis, close parenthesis and then open bracket. So pag ganyan, take note, pag open bracket and then close parenthesis, gagamitin natin is shaded circle, and then pag open parenthesis and then close bracket, ang gagamitin natin is still shaded circle pero papunta sa negative sign. So, dito sa unahan, papunta sa positive sign. Okay? So, hindi ko na dito inubos. So, meron naman kayong copy sa module. So, yung iba doon, i-follow nyo na lang, sundan nyo na lang. Okay po? So, ito yung mga gagawin natin. Basta tatandaan nyo lang if kasama sa solution, ang gagamitin natin is hollow circle and then open and close parentheses. And then, pag shaded region naman, shaded circle rather, gagamitin natin is yung bracket. Okay? So, here are the following steps in solving rational inequalities. So, meron kayo itong copy sa module. So, pwede nyo siyang sundan. Okay? So, step number one, move all terms to one side. So, okay? So, all terms to one side. So, rewrite the inequality as a single fraction on one side of the inequality symbol and 0 on the other side. So, dapat i-equate natin siya sa 0. So, for example, the following example is, let's say, 1 over x is greater than or equal to 3. So, yung 3, i-equate lang natin siya or i-transpose lang natin siya sa left side and then equate natin siya sa 0. Then, second step, factor. So, factor the non-zero side of the inequality. Then, step number 3, find the interval. So, dito sa interval, so, medyo mahaba yan ang process. So, dito sa natin lesson, medyo mahaba itong process. Okay, so find the intervals. Determine the values for which each factor is 0. These numbers will divide the real line into intervals. So, later, makikita nyo yan or malalaman kung paano. Number 4, make a table or make a sign table. So, meaning, yung mga ilalagay lang natin sa sign is, sa table rather is sign. So, yung number, hindi natin siya isasama. Okay po? So, step number 5, so solve. So, be sure to check whether the inequality is satisfied by some or all the endpoints. So, ito yung 5 steps in solving rational inequalities that we need to follow in solving rational. Okay, so let's proceed to our following examples. Example number 1, solve the rational inequality, which is 2x over x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 1. So, we're going to apply the step number 1, which is move all terms in other sides. Or we're going to equate the given inequality into 0. So, as you can see dito, mayroon tayong nakalagay na 1. Okay po? So, isasama natin siya. I-transpose natin siya sa left side, which is, so, copy 2x over x plus 1. So, since positive, that would be negative 1. And then, copy greater than or equal to. So, 0 na po ilang ilalagay natin kasi we're going to equate following rational inequality into 0. Okay, so step number 2. So dito po, since meron tayo dito ng fraction, so of course, kailangan natin dito na or magkaiba yung LCD. So as you can see, yung 1 is the LCD of 1 is 1. Then dito sa isa is x plus 1. Of course, gagamitin natin yung finding the LCD. So again, so dito po, so kung 1 yung LCD ng isang natin, so variable, so of course, the LCD is x plus 1. Okay, so apply na natin siya. So let's say our LCD is x plus 1. Okay? So, x plus 1 divided by x plus 1, of course, equals to 1. So, 1 times 2x. So, of course, the answer is 2x. Okay? So, x plus 1 divided by x plus 1 equal to 1. 1 times 2x. So, the answer is 2x. Okay, next. So, 1 is, mayroon ang 1 na denominator, 1, mayroon siyang denominator ng 1. So, x plus 1 divided by 1, of course, the answer is x plus 1. So, kopyahin lang natin siya. So, kopyahin po yung negative 1 and then kopyahin natin yung LCD which is x plus 1. Okay, then, greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so next step, distributive property. Distribute natin yung negative 1 which is, so, copy muna natin yung 2x. So, we have 2x. So, negative 1 times x, so we have negative x. And then, negative 1 times positive 1, we have negative 1. Copy the LCD, which is x plus 1. And then, greater than or equal to 0. And then, combine like terms. So, combining all terms, combining like terms. So, we have 2x. So, di ba may katabing 1 yung x? So, 2 minus 1. So, of course, our answer is only x. Then, copy negative 1 and then the denominator, which is x plus 1. Okay, so ito po yung step number 1 natin. So, step number 4, factor. So, ano ba dito yung i-factor natin? I-factor po natin dito is yung both numerator and then denominator. So, sa denominator natin, we have x plus 1. So, equate lang natin siya into 0. So, x minus 1 equals 0. So, x. So, transpose negative 1. So, nagiging positive 1. So, ito po yung isang x natin. So, gamitin naman natin is yung denominator. So, we have x plus 1 equals 0. So, of course, our x will be negative 1. So, equate to 0. Okay, so for our step number 3, hahanapin na natin yung intervals. So, find the intervals. Okay, so for our intervals, so ang gagamitin natin is yung na-factor out natin, which is positive 1 and then negative 1. So since negative 1, of course, nandito siya. Okay, so be careful, baka ilagay nyo dito sa right side yung negative. So negative is sa left side and then positive 1 dito po sa right side. Okay, so now, paano ba natin malalaman kung hollow circle or shaded circle? Okay po, so para malaman natin kung yung negative 1 ba ay shaded or hollow, so gagamitin po natin dito yung positive 1 and the negative 1, i-distribute lang natin siya dito sa original equation. Okay po, so let's say we have, okay, so 2, then yung x palitan natin ng positive 1, and then over, so x palitan natin ng 1 plus 1. So, greater than or equal to 1. So, 2 times 1, we have 2. 1 plus 1, we have 2. Then, greater than or equal to 1. So, 2 divided by 2, of course, we have 1 is greater than or equal to 1. So, meaning, check. So, ibig sabihin, yung negative 1 natin is shaded circle. So, ibig sabihin, kasama po ito sa solution natin. So, mamaya po gagamitin natin ito. Okay? So, now, try naman natin is yung negative 1. Okay, so copy 2. And then, x is substitute by negative 1. And then, also denominator. So, negative 1 plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. So, 2 times negative 1, we have negative 2. And then, negative 1 plus 1, we have 0. So, negative 2 divided by 0, of course, the answer is undefined. So, take note, pag undefined po yung answer, ibig sabihin, hindi po siya kasabay sa solution. So, x po to. So, ibig sabihin, yung 1 po dito is hollow circle lang. So, hindi po siya shaded circle. Okay? Okay, so after finding the interval, so which is nalaman natin kung shaded circle ba or hollow circle, so ilalagay na po natin yung interval natin. So in this case, meron po tayong 3 intervals. So paano ba makukuha yung or malalaman yung interval? So first, ito po siya sa taas. Kung nakikita nyo, meron tayo dyan na x is less than negative 1. Okay po, so saan po yung nakuha? Dito po sa yung baba natin yung factor out natin kanina. Okay, so first interval, we have x is greater, less than to negative 1. And then, yung sa gitna po natin, yung sa center, we have, eto, negative 1 is less than 2x, less than to 1. Ito po siya. Okay, then yung third interval natin, x is greater than to 1. Bakit po? Kasi sa last na po siya. So, always, take note po, palagi na pag sa last na po natin siya, so palagi na po yan na greater than. Okay, so again, first interval natin, x is less than negative 1. Then, yung sa center natin, negative 1 is less than 2x, less than to 1. And then, x is greater than to 1. Okay, so this is our 3 intervals. So now let's proceed to step number 4, which is we're going to make a sign table. Okay, so for our step number 4, so we're going to make a sign table. So meaning yung nasa table natin is dapat lahat lang na sign. Okay po. So yun ang number, hindi natin siya isasabay. Okay. So first, ilalagay natin yung mga interval natin. So saan po ba nakuha yung interval? So yung kanina pong pinakita ko sa inyo, so which is x is less than negative 1, negative 1 is less than 2x, x is less than 2 negative 1, and then x is greater than 1. And then, for test point, paano po ba kukunin yung test point? So, para po makuha yung test point, for example, ito po yung negative 1 natin, parang ilalagay lang po natin yung may pinakamalapit po sa number natin. So, let's say, negative 1, so, mayroon po tayo dito na negative 2. Okay, so yung pinakamalapit sa negative 1, of course, negative 2. And then dito po, so yung kahati or sa hati ng negative 1 and then 0, of course, negative 1 then 1 rather, of course, 0 na po yan. So, ilalagay na po natin dito is x equals 0. Then dito po, of course, yung malapit sa 1 is 2. So, kaya x equals 2. Now, paano po ba makukuha itong dito sa baba natin? So, ito po yung nakuha ko po natin kanina, yung sa na-solve po natin. So, which is, yung numerator is x minus 1, the denominator is x plus 1. Tapos, yung pang-tatlo po is, kukopyahin na natin yung both numerator and then denominator. Okay? So, yung first po, numerator, denominator, and then numerator and denominator. Okay, so now, paano po ba ito nakuha dito sa table natin? Okay. So, kaya nga po siya sign table kasi ang ilalagay na lang natin na solution is sign natin. Okay? So, first, yung negative 2 dito, i-equate or evaluate lang po natin siya dito sa test point natin, which is x minus 1. Okay? So, yung negative 2, ipapalit lang natin siya dito sa x. So, let's say, evaluate lang natin siya. So, negative 2, then copy minus 1. So, negative 2 minus 1 is negative 3. So, yung negative po, ay ilalagay lang po natin dito sa sign, okay? Okay, so our solution is negative 3. So, ilalagay lang po natin dito sa table is yung negative sign, okay? So, yung 3, hindi po natin siya isasama, okay? So, next, evaluate naman natin is yung second one. So, we have x plus 1. So, ipapalit natin sa x negative 2. So, negative 2 plus 1. So, answer is negative 1. So, still, negative po. Pukopihin po natin siya dito, okay? So, now, paano po ba ito makukuha nasa last, which is positive? So, ano lang natin sila, solve lang natin sila. So, negative times negative, the answer is positive. Okay? So, yung ito po sa second one, so x equals 0. So, evaluate naman natin siya, which is, the value for x is 0. So, yung x, palitan natin siya ng 0. So, 0, negative 1. So, the answer is negative 1. So, opening lang natin, negative sign. Okay? Then, so, next is 0 plus 1. So, of course, positive 1. So, copy, positive sign. And then, solve the sign. Negative times positive, the answer is negative. Okay? So, next, evaluate at x equals 2. So, 2 minus 1, of course, positive 1. Okay? So, kaya positive yung sign dito. Next, yung x palitan ng 2. So, 2 plus 1, the answer is positive 3. So, copy, positive. Then, positive times positive, our answer is positive. Okay? Okay, so our solution set is x is less than to negative 1 or x is greater than or equal to 1. So, bakit po ba dito may equal? Okay, kung sa given interval natin is only x is greater than 1. So, bakit po ba siya x is greater than or equal to 1? Take note po na yung 2, diba? Ay yung dito po, yung sa x is greater than 1, kasama po siya sa solution. Okay po? So, therefore, gagawin natin or ilalagay natin is greater than or equal to 1 kasi kasama siya sa solution. Okay po? So, ito po yung example number 1. Okay, so let's proceed to our example number 2. So, we have 1 plus x over 1 minus x greater than or equal to 1. Okay, so again, step number 1, we're going to move all the terms in one side. So, okay po, so as you can see dito, mayroon dito na 1. So, itatranspose lang natin siya sa left side. Okay, so magiging 1 plus x over 1 minus x. So, positive 1 magiging negative 1. Then, copy greater than or equal to 0. So, equate na po natin siya sa 0. Hindi na po siya 1. Okay? So, next, since may mag-iba yung LCD niya, or denominator niya, so hahanapin po natin is yung LCD. So, still, ang LCD po is 1 minus x. Okay? So, LCD natin, 1 minus x. So, 1 minus x divided by 1 minus x. So, equal to 1. 1 times 1 plus x. So, our answer is 1 plus x. Then, yung sa second fraction natin, so, di ba may denominator siya na 1? So, negative 1 minus x divided by 1. So, the answer is 1 minus x. So, copyhin lang po natin dito yung 1 and then copy the LCD which is 1 minus x. And then, greater than or equal to 0. Okay? So, after po nyan, i-distribute lang natin yung negative. Okay? So, after nyan, i-distribute na po natin yung negative 1. So, copy 1 plus x. So, negative 1 times positive 1. So, we have negative 1. And then, negative 1 times negative x. So, we have positive x. Then, copy the denominator which is 1 minus x. And then, equate natin siya sa 0. And then, pagsama-samahin na po natin yung pwedeng pagsamahin. So, combining like terms. So, 1 minus 1, 0 na po siya. So, x plus x. So, di ba may katabi siyang 1? So, 1 plus 1, we have 2x over, we have 1 minus x. So, greater than or equal to 0. So, ayan na po yung sagot natin. Now, second step is factor out po muna natin siya. Okay. So, factor natin yung 2x. So, since 2x, wala naman siyang kasama, of course, 0 na po siya. Bakit? Kasi, i-divide natin siya sa, di ba ito? Divide natin siya both side by 2. So, of course, our x will be 0. And then, next na natin i-equate yung, or i-factor yung 1 minus x. So, we have 1 minus x, equate natin sa 0. So, negative x, transpose natin positive 1, so magiging negative 1. So, since may negative yung x, so divide natin siya by negative 1 kasi may katabi yung x na 1. So, divide both side by negative 1. So, cancel, cancel. So, our x will be positive 1. Kasi negative 1 divided by negative 1, our answer is positive 1. Okay, so after that, proceed na tayo sa our third step, which is find the interval. So, hanapin na po natin is yung our interval. So, sa interval po, ang gagamitin po natin is 0 and then 1. Okay po? So, parehas po siya positive. So, dito na lang parehas din naman. So, 0 and then 1. So, okay. So, paano po ba natin malalaman kung hollow circle or shaded circle yung gagamitin natin? So, i-evaluate lang po natin yung 0 sa original given problem. So, try natin. 1 plus. So, yung x papalitan natin siya ng 0 over 1 minus 0, then greater than or equal to 1. Okay po, kasi original inequality yung gagamitin natin. Okay, so 1 plus 0, 1. 1 minus 0, 1. So, equal or greater than to 1. So, 1 is greater than or equal to 1. So, meaning, check. So, ibig sabihin, yung 0 po natin is naka-shaded circle. Okay? So, gamitin naman natin is yung 1. Okay, so still original inequality. So, 1 plus 1 over 1 minus 1. So, greater than or equal to 0. So, 1 plus 1, 2. Then, 1 minus 1 rather. Okay? So, 1 minus 1, 0. Okay? So, undefined po to. So, of course, x to. Okay? Or meaning, hindi siya kasama sa solution. So, ibig sabihin po, yung 1 is hollow circle. Hindi po siya naka-shade. Okay? Okay, so for our 0, shaded circle, and then for 1, hollow circle. So, hahanapin na po natin yung 3 intervals natin. Okay po, so yung sa first natin na interval is x is less than 0. Okay po, so ito siya. Then, yung sa center po natin, we have 0 is less than 2x, less than 2, 1. Okay po, ito po yung 1. And then, yung last interval natin, x is greater than 2, 1. Okay po, so tatandaan nyo po, yung palaging last is dapat naka-greater than, okay? So, kasi wala na siyang kasunod, okay? So, minin yun na po yung katapusan niya, okay? So, unless kung infinity yung given problem natin, okay? So, next, step number 4, make a sign table. Okay, so for our step number 4, we're going to make a sign table. So, interval natin, ito po siya sa taas. X is less than 0, 0 is less than 2x, but x is less than 1, then x is greater than 1. And then, for our test points, so gaya po na sinabi ko kanina sa first example natin, so hahanapin lang po natin yung mga pinakamalapit sa given interval. So, for 0 po, dito you can say, ang malapit sa 0 is negative 1 kasi dito po natin siya kinuha sa gilid. Okay po? So, meaning nasa left side. Okay? So, pinakamalapit po sa 0 is negative 1. So, yan po yung test point natin ng number 1. Then, between 0 and 1, gamitin natin yung 1/2. Anyways pala, pwede kayo dito gumamit ng any number kaso mahihirapan kayo once solve. Like, for example po dito. So, pwede kayo gumamit ng any number. Pero, ano ko lang sa inyo, advice ko lang sa inyo kung ano po yung pinakamalapit na number, yun na lang po yung gagamitin nyo para hindi kayo mahirapan sa pag-solve. Okay? So, between 0 and 1, gamitin po natin is 1/2. Okay? Then, for 1, pinakamalapit po sa positive 1, of course, positive 2. Okay? So, now, dito po sa pababa, isulat natin yung dito, yung ito po siya dito. Okay? So, yung na-solve po natin, hindi po gagamitin yung original equation or original inequality. Okay? So, first, numerator, 2x, denominator, 1 minus x. Then, kopihin natin yung both numerator and denominator, which is 2x over 1 minus x. Now, again, isusulat po natin sa table is yung all sign. Okay? So, paano po makukuha yung sign? So, let's say, gamitin na natin yung, or evaluate natin yung x, which is negative 1. So, 2. Tapos, palitan natin yung x ng negative 1. So, answer is negative 2. So, therefore, ikukupi na natin dito is negative na lang, okay? So, sunod naman, 1 minus x. So, 1 times negative 1. So, magiging positive to. So, negative times negative, of course, positive. So, 1 plus 1, positive 2. So, kaya positive. So, solve na natin yung dalawang sign. Negative times positive, the answer is negative. And then, yung sa second naman, ganun pa rin. I-evaluate na natin yung x at 1/2. So, 2 times 1/2. So, ang sagot natin dyan is positive. Okay? So, kaya positive. Then, dito naman, 1 minus 1/2. So, since mas malaki naman yung 1 kasi sa 1/2, of course, positive yung sagot natin. So, kaya positive. So, positive times positive, the answer is positive. And then, for the third one, evaluate at x equals 2. So, ganun pa rin. 2 times 2, positive 4. So, positive. And then, 1 minus x or 1 minus 2, negative 1. So, kaya negative. Then, solve na natin yung dalawang sign, which is positive times negative. So, our answer is negative. So, ito po yung sign table. So, medyo mahirap yung sign table, especially kung pagkuha ng test point, tapos yung sa interval. So, mga given activity natin, so, pa-practice kayo dito kasi papagawin ko kayo ng ganito. So, para kahit pa paano ma-practice kayo at sanay sa pagkuha ng sign table. Okay? So, last step natin is isolve na natin or isusulat na po natin is yung solution set po natin. Okay, so since the given problem is greater than or equal to, so ang gagamitin po natin sa paglagay ng or pagkuha ng solution set is yung positive. So dito po, isa lang naman yung may positive natin, which is, ito siya, 0 is less than to x and x is less than to 1. So ito na po yung solution set natin dito. So gagamit po tayo ng bracket. Bakit? Kasi solution set po yung natin yung 0 natin, di ba? Ito po sa taas. Okay? So, bakit siya less than or equal. Kung sa given interval po natin is less than. So, again, gagamitin po natin yung less than or equal to kasi po yung 0 is solution po siya. Okay? Kasi shaded circle siya. So, pag once shaded circle, isasabay po natin siya kahit na less than lang yung dito sa interval. Okay? So, ito na po yung solution set natin or final answer natin. So, let's proceed to example number 3. So, our given problem is 3 over x minus 2 minus 1 over x less than 2, 0. So, in here, wala naman pong pwedeng transpose. So, naka-equate naman po siya sa 0. So, hindi na po natin gagamitin yung step number 1. Okay, so proceed na po tayo sa pagkuha ng LCD. Bakit? Kasi po magkaiba yung denominator niya, which is x minus 2 then x. Okay po? So, in here, ano po ba yung magiging, ano po ba yung magiging LCD natin? So, dito po, ang LCD po natin is x then x minus 2. So, pagsasama-samahin lang po natin siya. So, x times x minus 2. Okay? So, ano na natin siya? I-solve na natin siya. So, dito, as you can see, isulat ko lang muna siya dito. So, x, then x minus 2. So, i-divide natin siya dito sa denominator, which is x minus 2. So, dito, nangyayari po is, since parehas na siya, so, cancel out na lang natin siya. So, natira na lang po is x. So, x times 3. So, our answer is 3x na lang. Okay? So, nakukuha po ba? Then next, yung second fraction na natin. Okay? So, sulat ko din siya. X times x minus 2 divided by x. Okay po? Kasi divide muna natin siya sa denominator. So, in here, i-cancel out na po natin yung x. Tapos, x minus 2 times negative 1. So, kopyahin na po natin dito, negative 1, and then, yung natira po, which is x minus 2. Okay? Then, is less than 2, 0. Okay? So, next step po natin, i-distribute po natin yung negative 1. Okay? Dito sa x minus 2. So, copy 3x. So, negative 1 times x, negative x. Then, negative 1 times negative 2, positive 2. Okay? Then, sa baba, copy lang po natin siya. X, then x minus 2. Bakit hindi siya pwedeng i-simplify or times, halimbawa, x times x squared minus 2x kasi po LCD po siya. So, hindi po siya pwedeng i-solve, okay? So, copy less than 0. Okay, so, combining like terms. So, ipagsama-samahin natin yung pwede. So, di ba yung x may katabing 1? So, 3 minus 1, we have positive 2, then copy x. So, copy plus 2, then copy the denominator, which is x times x minus 2 less than 2 zeros. Ito na po yung sagot natin. Then, proceed na tayo sa step number 2, which is factor. Okay, so hanapin na po natin yung factor ng numerator na 2x plus 2. Equate natin siya sa 0. So, in here, 2x. So, i-transpose natin yung positive 2. Negative 2 na siya. So, divide natin both side by 2 para matanggal yung katabi ng x. So, cancel, cancel. X is negative 2 divided by 2, we have negative 1. Okay? So, dito po, as you can see, meron tayong x times x minus 2. Hindi po ito pwedeng ipagsama-isahan. Okay? So, meaning, ano po natin siya, i-factor natin siya ng dalawa. Okay po? Ng magkaiba. So, sa x natin, since wala naman siyang kasama, so, understood na equate na natin siya sa 0 kasi wala naman siyang kasama unlike sa 2x plus 2. Okay? So, sunod naman is, yan ako lang siya para hindi kayo malito. Okay, so sunod is x minus 2. So, equate natin siya sa 0. So, x transpose negative 2. So, magiging positive 2. So, ito na po yung next natin. Okay, so, step number 3, find the intervals. Okay, so, hahanapin na po natin is yung interval. Okay, so meron po dito tayong tatlo. So, yung first natin is negative 1. Of course, yung negative 1 natin is dito. So, yung 0 natin is sa gitna. Then, positive 2. So, dito po siya sa right side. Okay? So, now, paano po ba natin malalaman kung hollow circle or shaded circle po yung 0, yung negative 1, 0, and positive 2. So, again po, i-evaluate po natin yung given value of x sa original um, inequality natin. So, first, gamitin natin yung negative 1. Okay? So, copy 3. Then, yung x, palitan natin siya ng negative 1. So, copy negative 2 minus 1. Then, yung x, palitan natin siya ng negative 1 equals or greater than 0. So, copy 3. So, negative 1 minus 2, we have negative 3 minus 1, or magiging positive na po siya. So, 1 less than to 0. Okay po. Okay, so dito po, as you can see, so 3 over negative 3. So, mayroon tayo dyan na, so, hahanapin natin dyan yung LCD. So, as you can see, so, try natin yung negative 3. Okay, so, negative 3 divided by negative 3, so positive 1 times, positive 1 times 3, so we have 3, then copy. So, negative 3 divided by 1, of course, negative 3 times positive 1, we have negative 3, so greater than or less than to 0, okay? So, 3 minus 3, 0, so, ayan, so, 0 divided by negative 3, of course, undefined, so pag undefined meaning wrong to, ibig sabihin, hollow circle lang po yung negative 1, okay? So, try na natin yung 0. So, still po, gagamitin natin is yung original inequality. Okay, so, 3. So, yung x palitan natin ng 0 minus 2, tapos minus 1. Then, yung x natin is papalitan natin siya ng 0 less than to 0. Okay po, so as you can see dito, may denominator tayong 0. So, of course, understood na yung solution natin is magiging 0 na. So, meaning, wrong po to. So, ibig sabihin, yung 0 natin is hollow circle. So, last, gamitin natin yung 2. So, copy 3. X palitan ng 2. So, 2 minus 2, then minus 1. So, yung x palitan ng 2. So, dito po, kung napapansin nyo din, 2 minus 2 equals na siya sa 0. So, once may 0 sa denominator, so alam na natin kung ano yung sagot. So, ibig sabihin, wrong din to. So, ibig sabihin, yung 2 is hollow circle. So, hindi po siya yung solution natin dyan. Okay. So, yan. So, after malaman kung hollow circle or shaded circle, so, alamin na po natin kung ano yung mga intervals natin. So, since meron tayong 3 value for x, meron po tayo dyan na 4 intervals kasi meron tayo dyan sa circle, okay? Okay, so for our intervals, we have 4 intervals kasi tatlo yung value ng x. So, mayroon sa isang center, so of course, magiging 4 interval. So, first interval natin, x is less than 2, negative 1. Okay po, so negative 1, and then negative 1 is less than 2, 0, 2x less than 2, 0 rather. Then next is 0 is less than to 2 or less than to x, x is less than to 2. And lastly, x is greater than to 2. So, ito po yung gagamitin natin na 4 intervals sa pagkuha po ng sign table. Proceed to step number 4, which is make a sign table. Okay, so, write the 4 intervals, which is x is less than to 1, 1 is less than to x, but x is less than to 0, then 0 is less than to x, but x is less than to 2, then x is greater than to 2. Okay po, so ito po siya sa taas. Okay, next is test points. So again, yung pinakamalapit po yung sa mga interval natin, which is sa pinakamalapit sa negative 1 is negative 2. So x is equals negative 2. Then between negative 1 tapos 0, so gamitin na lang natin is negative 1 na. Bakit negative? Kasi meron tayo dito itong negative. Okay? So between negative tapos positive. Okay? So, next is, bakit dito ginamit natin yung 1? So, di ba dito, between 0 and 2, so, ang pinakamalapit lang is 1. So, therefore, 1. And then, sa 2, next sa 2 is 3. Okay? So, for our test point, so, di ba ito yung gagamitin natin? Ito po siya sa baba. Na our test point, so, we have 2 times x plus 1. So, hahanapin po natin yung factor dito kasi as you can see, yung sagot natin is 2x plus 2. So, hahanapin lang po natin yung factor niya, which is, di ba, pag solve natin siya, 2 times x, 2x, then 2 times 1, positive 2. Okay? So, yung x, again po, hindi natin siya ipagsasama. Okay? So, ihiwalayin po natin siya. So, copy x, then x minus 2, then yung pinakalas is yung pinagsama na po natin. So, 2 times x plus 1 over x times x minus 2. Okay? So, ganun pa rin po. I-evaluate pa natin yung negative 2. So, let's say 2 times negative 2 plus 1. So, ito po yung mga sagot natin dito. So, hindi ko na po siya iisa-isahin kasi naturo ko na po siya sa 2 example natin. Okay? So, after makagawa ng sign table, of course, yung pinaka-final answer natin or yung solution set natin. Okay? Okay, so hanapin na po natin yung our solution set or final answer. So, again po, remind ko lang, kung yung given problem or inequality is greater than, sa pagkuha po ng solution set, ang gagamitin po natin is yung mga positive. Pero kung less than, ang kukunin po natin sa solution set is negative. So, in here, since less than siya, so ang gagamitin natin is ito, yung dalawang negative natin, yung result natin sa negative. So, ito na po siya. So, yung x is less than 2, negative 1. So, ayan po siya. Or, kasi dalawa yung may negative signs. Or, ayun po yung isa natin, x is less than to negative 1. Okay, so, ano lang po ito, i-check ko lang ulit ito. Yan, positive po siya. Okay, so, kasi positive, then negative times negative is positive. So, positive times positive, we have positive. Okay, so nalito lang po ako dun. Okay, then yung second natin is yung, itong may negative. So, 0 is less than 2x, but x is less than 2. Okay, so ito na po yung solution set natin. Okay. So, ngayon po, tuturuan ko kayo ng solving rational inequalities na hindi gagamit ng sign table. Okay, so parang mas madali ito kasi kung ito po, although okay lang din naman yung paggamit ng sign table kasi may mga time na mahaba yung interval, so pwedeng nasa 10 or whatever, depende sa given problem. So, ngayon, tuturuan ko po kayo kung paano ba paano ba natin i-solve yung rational inequalities na hindi gagamit na sign table. Okay, so let's proceed to example number 4. So dito po, tuturuan ko kayo kung ano ba yung isang way para hindi tayo gumamit ng sign table pero tama pa rin yung sagot natin or mapupunta pa rin po tayo sa our final answer or the solution set. So, yung first solution po natin or first step, so ganun pa rin, gagamitin pa rin po natin yung following step natin. So, since meron po dito na 2, so i-ano lang natin siya, i-transpose lang natin siya sa kabila. So, x plus 12 over x plus 2, so positive 2 magiging negative 2, then greater than or equal to, so 0 na po kasi nag-transpose na tayo. Okay? So, sunod po, kukunin na po natin is yung LCD kasi mag-iba yung denominator niya. Okay? So, in here po, LCD natin ay magiging x plus 2. Okay? So, solve na natin. X plus 2 divided by x plus 2, so equal siya sa 1. Okay? So, 1 times x plus 12, so of course, x plus 12. Then next, baka denominator siya na 1. So, x plus 2 divided by 1. So, the answer is x plus 2 times negative 2. So, copy natin dito yung negative 2 and then x plus 2. Okay po? So, iisa-isahin natin siya. So, mamaya na natin siya distribute. Okay? So, now, okay, so, distribute na natin yung negative 2. So, copy x plus 12. And then, negative 2 times x, we have negative 2x. Then, negative 2 times positive 2, we have negative 4 over x plus 2, then greater than or equal to 0. And then, combine like terms. So, x minus 2x, so may katabing 1 yung x. So, 1 minus 2, so we have negative x, then 12, positive 12 minus 4, so our answer is positive 8 over x plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So, ito na po yung sagot natin. So, next na po yung step natin is, i-factor out na po natin yung numerator and then denominator. So, first, negative x plus 8. So, equate natin siya sa 0. So, copy negative x. So, transpose natin sa left side yung positive 8 so magiging negative 8. So, since may katabing negative yung x, so, i-divide natin siya both side by negative 1. Then, our x is positive 8. Okay? So, next is yung denominator natin, which is x plus 2. So, i-equate natin siya sa 0. So, of course, our x is negative 2 kasi transpose lang natin yung positive 2, so magiging negative 2. Okay, so third step, find the interval. So, hanapin na po natin is yung interval. So, in here, yung interval po natin is negative 2 So, syempre, negative 2, nandito po siya sa left side, tapos positive 8, dito po siya sa right side. Okay. So, now, paano ba natin malalaman kung hollow circle or shaded circle yung gagamitin natin? So, again, evaluate po natin yung dalawang value ng x sa original inequality. So, try natin siya, isolve natin siya. So, yung x, palitan na natin siya ng 8 plus 12 over, so yung x palitan din ng 8 plus 2 greater than or equal to 2. So, 8 plus 12, 20. Then, 8 plus 2, 10. Greater than or equal to 2. Then, 20 divided by 10. At 10, we have 2 is greater than or equal to 2. So, meaning, check. So, ibig sabihin, yung 8 po natin is solution. Kasama siya sa solution, which is shaded circle. So, now, itry po natin is yung negative 2. So, again, so x, palitan natin ng negative 2 plus 12. Then, negative 2 plus 2 plus greater than or equal to 0. So, negative 2 plus 12, our answer is 10. Then, ito po, negative 2 plus 2. So, di ba, ang sagot yun is 0. So, pag 0 yung sagot, alam nyo na, wrong yan. So, meaning, yung 2 is hollow circle. Okay, so di ba sabi ko sa inyo, natuturuan ko kayo ng isang way kung paano ba natin makukuha yung solution set or final answer na hindi gumagamit ng sign table. Okay po, so dito, so still meron po tayong tatlong interval. So meron tayong A, yung B, yung sa gitna natin is yung C. Okay, so dito po sa A, interval A, so gamitin natin yung negative 3. Bakit? Kasi po, di ba negative 2? So parehas lang naman kanina, kaso nga yung sign table is hindi natin gagamitin. Okay, so yung pinakamalapit sa 2 is negative 3. Okay, so for B, of course, 0 na siya. So wag nang pahirapan, 0 na lang. Then, pinakamalapit sa positive 8 is positive 9. So now, gagamitin po natin itong solution natin dito. So ito. Okay? So, negative x plus 8 over x plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So, evaluate po natin siya sa value ng 3. Okay? So, negative. So, x palitan ng 3. Negative 3 rather plus 8 over negative 3 plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. Then, simplify lang natin siya. Negative times negative 3, of course, positive 3 plus 8. Then, negative 3 plus 2, negative 1. Then, greater than or equal to 0. So, 3 plus 8, so 11 over negative 1. So, greater than or equal to 0. So, negative 11 divided by 1, answer is negative 11. So, okay. So, negative 11 is not greater than or equal to 0. So, meaning, wrong po ito. Okay po? Ibig sabihin, hindi kasama yung 3 or negative 3 or yung first interval natin sa solution set. Okay? So, gamitin naman po natin is yung letter B. So, ganun pa din. Gagamitin po natin itong solution natin. So, ipapalit lang natin is yung 0. So, negative. So, yung x magiging 0 plus 8. Then, over 0 plus 2. Greater than or equal to 0. So, 8 na po yan. And then, positive 2. Okay? So, greater than or equal to 0. Then, 8 divided by 2, we have 4. Okay, so 4 is greater than or equal to 0. So, meaning, check to. So, ibig sabihin po, yung 0 is kasama po siya sa solution set or yung sa second interval natin. So, lalagyan po lang natin siya dito ng ganito. Yung parang double line lang natin siya. So, parang mapakita lang natin siya na yung second interval ay kasama siya sa solution set. Okay? So, next natin, yung C. So, still, negative x palitan ng, yung x, copy negative palitan yung x ng 9. Then, plus 8 over 9 plus 2 greater than or equal to 0. So, ayan. So, negative 9 plus 8. So, negative 1. Then, 9 plus 2. 11. So, greater than or equal to 0. So, hindi po siya wrong siya. Okay? Kasi hindi naman siya greater than to 0. So, meaning po, yung kasama lang sa, kasama lang sa, kukunin natin na solution set is yung sa second interval. Ito na po yung solution set natin or yung final answer natin. So, we have negative 2 is less than 2x. less than or equal to 8. Bakit po siya may equal? Kasi di ba yung 8, yung kaninang nasolve ko sa previous na natin na isolve is, sumakto din yung 8 which is naka-shaded circle. So meaning, kasabay po siya sa solution set natin. So ito na po yung solution set natin. Okay? So, this is all for today's video lesson class. So, if you have any question regarding this, so you may ask me during our Google Meet, and then mag-Google ako doon ng mga activities para mas mag-practice kayo sa, lalo na sa making a sign table. Okay? So, goodbye everyone, and see you on our next video lesson.